Hello, Army. Welcome back to BTS On 7. Tonight, we're talking about something that has fans across New England buzzing with anticipation. Because right now, as the sun begins to dip behind Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, Jimin and the rest of BTS are preparing for one of the biggest nights of their ARIRANG World Tour. Soundcheck is set for 5 in the afternoon, a quiet, almost sacred hour before the chaos begins, when the stage is still half lit and the seats are still empty. Then at 8 o'clock sharp, the lights will drop, the crowd will roar, and Park Jimin will step into the spotlight the way he always does, like he was born to be there. If you've followed Jimin's stage presence over the years, you already know this isn't just another tour stop for him. Every city, every arena, every sea of army bombs glowing in the dark becomes its own story. And what makes Jimin so unforgettable isn't just his voice or his technique. It's the way he seems to pour something raw and real into every single movement, night after night, as if each performance is the only one that matters. Let's start with the way he moves, because honestly, there's nobody quite like him. Jimin's dancing has always walked this incredible line between power and softness. One moment, his body snaps into sharp, precise lines during the group's high-energy numbers, and the next, he's melting into fluid, almost liquid motion that makes the choreography look less like steps and more like poetry. Fans have long pointed out that he dances with his entire body, not just his limbs. His shoulders, his spine, even the tilt of his head all become part of the story he's telling. It's part of why whenever solo shots of him during a performance circulate online, they spread so fast. There's an emotional intelligence in his movement that other performers spend years trying to develop, and Jimin seems to carry it instinctually. And then there's the styling, which this tour has taken to another level entirely. On stage, Jimin has been experimenting with looks that swing between rugged and delicate, sometimes within the same show. There have been nights where he stepped out in a distressed cream-colored knit sweater with an open, almost cobweb-like texture, layered necklaces catching the light every time he turns his head, giving him this soft, wistful, almost otherworldly presence under the purple stage lighting. Other nights, he's leaned into something darker and edgier, a black tactical-style jacket with heavy straps and buckles, paired with a chain necklace, radiating this quiet, commanding intensity that makes him look every bit like a rock star holding an entire stadium in the palm of his hand. Then there are moments fans describe as pure charisma overload. Jimin in a simple black tank top and worn-in denim, sleeves of tattoos catching the stage lights as he lifts the microphone, hair damp with sweat, completely lost in the performance. It's stripped down, no frills, just raw stage presence, and somehow it hits just as hard as the more elaborate outfits. And who could forget the olive green vest layered over a sheer textured top paired with wide-leg denim and a stack of necklaces, a look that fans instantly fell in love with for how effortlessly it blended rugged and refined. Paired with his golden blonde hair catching the light, it became one of those instantly iconic tour looks that ARMY started calling timeless within hours of it appearing online. But it's not just about the clothes or the choreography, it's about the small human moments in between. Fans in the front rows have talked about the way Jimin makes eye contact and holds it just long enough to make someone truly feel seen in a crowd of thousands. He points, he smiles, he mouths words to specific fans, he laughs at signs he catches out of the corner of his eye. There's a warmth to the way he interacts with the crowd that never feels performative. It feels personal, like he genuinely wants every single person in that stadium to know he sees them, even just for a second. That's part of why so many fans have started calling him a true prince of the stage, no matter what he's wearing or what choreography he's performing. It's not about the crown-like styling or the elaborate costumes. It's about the way he carries himself, confident, graceful, but never distant. Whether he's dressed in soft knitwear that makes him look like he wandered out of a dream, or in sharp, structured pieces that give him an edge, Jimin brings the same quiet magnetism to every look. Some ARMY have joked that he could wear anything, a potato sock even, and still make it look like couture simply because of the way he moves and the energy he carries. And honestly, when you look back at the build-up to nights like tonight in Foxborough, it makes sense why so many fans are treating this tour stop as something special. Gillette Stadium marks BTS's first ever performance at this venue, part of a massive stadium shows that have taken the group across cities from Tampa to Las Vegas, from East Rutherford all the way up to New England. For fans in the Boston area, some of whom have been counting down since the tour was first announced, tonight represents years of waiting finally paying off in real time. There's also something quietly moving watching Jimin during moments of stillness on stage, those brief seconds between songs when the choreography stops and he's simply standing there, catching his breath, taking in the size of the crowd in front of him. Fans who've experienced those pauses in person often describe them as some of the most emotional parts of the night, a reminder that behind the performance is a person who has worked incredibly hard to stand exactly where he is. As the show builds towards its final numbers, the energy in the stadium tends to shift again. The choreography gets bigger, the vocals push harder, and Jimin's presence seems to expand to fill every corner of the space. Some fans believe this is intentional, that he saves a certain intensity for the back half of the set, letting the emotional weight of the night build gradually rather than peaking too early. Whether or not that's a deliberate choice, it's hard to deny the effect it has. By the encore, the crowd isn't just watching a performance anymore, they're part of it. So, as soundcheck wraps up this afternoon and the stadium slowly begins filling with fans clutching army bombs and handmade signs, there's a familiar kind of electricity building in the air. Tonight in Foxborough is going to be another chapter in a story that's been unfolding for years, one built on dedication, artistry, and a connection between Jimin and ARMY that only seems to grow stronger with every stage he steps onto. That's the story for today. If this brought back memories of your own favorite Jimin stage moment, or if you're lucky enough to be at Gillette Stadium tonight, we'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment and let us know what you're most excited to see. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to BTS on 7, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on Jimin and the rest of BTS. Thank you so much for watching, ARMY. We'll see you in the next one.